Right then, hello everyone. Here is a quick introduction to your Unit 22 Investigating Business for BTEC National Sport Level 3. Just wanting to give an outline of what the unit is going to offer you, some of the things you might learn from it, and also how we will be delivering it to you in the following months. So we all know that sport plays a massive part in today's society and the day-to-day living of many people, but obviously as well as that, these are businesses, things that are run as a profit-making organisation, or in some cases non-profit making. And obviously this unit will investigate some of the things that we take for granted and possibly don't even think about on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, we're going to have lots of companies and lots of things that we'll talk about. So for example, Virgin Active, how do they run their company? Okay, what's their aims and objectives? Okay, there may be something like a comparison with David Lloyd. How do they do their day-to-day business and how is that differing? The idea of the course is to give you the various skills that you need, whether that be management, leadership, understanding of the sectors, whatever it might be, and then look at different businesses in different environments. Is it government run? Is it private? And so on and so on. And we'll touch on this more in later videos. Finally, we want to try and create some examples and case studies for your exam. And again, we'll talk about this at a later point. So, looking forward to the exam, what is it that the exam board actually wants us to know about? Well, pretty simple. Learners investigate how business operates in the sport and active leisure industry and how it responds to trends and other influences to meet the need of clients and to benefit the business. Sounds a little bit complicated, but when we break it down, it becomes far more understandable and far easier to access. So, assessment outcome 1, demonstrate knowledge and understanding of sport and active leisure business operations and how to respond to trends and internal and external influences. I want you to take a minute to have a think about what it is that you understand by that outcome. What is it that demonstrating the knowledge and understanding of sport and active leisure businesses means to you? How are you going to show that in your writing and your work in the future? AO2 concentrates on this idea of the analysis, okay, so the analysis of your business information, and that will play a really important part in how you make decisions further down the line, especially in that exam situation at the end of the unit. AO3 looks at that evaluation. So what evidence have you got about the decisions you're going to make? How are you going to do those improvements that may be vital to a certain business? That's when we're talking about that comparison and being able to know where one successful business might differ to one that is less successful. And then finally, AO4 talks about justification for your recommendations. What is it that you are recommending? Why do you know this to be right? Why do you know it to be correct? Okay, so that you need to be able to give reasons behind your answers. So, ultimately, we will be having an exam. It's a 3-hour exam paper. There will be a pre-released material that normally comes out about 2 weeks beforehand, maybe slightly less, where you are able to take in 4 pages of A4 notes. Now, it's really important that you remember this. This is going to be the basis of some of your answers in the exam, where you're going to be able to share and really research some of those areas that you will be asked about in the final exam. It can't have any continuous prose, must be in a bullet point format, and then performed in a supervised window, which will be within your lessons. The exam itself will take place with 4 simple tasks or questions, where you're going to be asked about these 4 areas. The review of business information, and that's going to carry 16 marks. You'll then be asked about the business model analysis, so looking at PESTEL and SWOT. These will be terms that will be becoming more and more familiar with you as the course goes on. And then the big one, I suppose, is about recommendations. What would you do to make this business improve? What would you do to make some changes to see things that are working? And that is 20 marks. And then this is the area where lots of people get confused. The final question is justifying your recommendations. And all too often, people are trying to really join these two together. They think that you have to put your justification in the recommendation box, and then they end up repeating themselves in the recommendation, the justification task. So, we'll talk about exam technique, etc. at a later point. But for now, I think you'll find out that that's everything you need to know for the time being. The final thing I'm going to say is, you've got to go in there with an open mind. It may seem like a lot of numbers and a lot of technical terms, but do a bit of research. Think about how it affects you on a day-to-day basis. And then think, how will it actually influence some of your future? Is it something that you think that you might be able to go into in your professional life later on, after maybe your studies with us, or will it be something that will be happening, or maybe just give you a better understanding of that sector? Okay, thanks for listening. Good luck.